So today I'm going to replace the master cylinder on a 1968 F250 camper special with a 360. It's got front disc brakes. So there's two styles. One has drums in the front, one has discs in the front, and so that's going to depend on what kind of master cylinder you get. I did recently inherit this truck from my brother. We call it the Blue Bomber, and I'll be making some videos in the future on it. And I've actually never done this before, so we're going to learn together. I did watch a video saying you're supposed to use brake line wrenches in order to get those hoses off, those brake lines, but, well, I don't have any, so we're not going to do that. I took the cap off, and now I'm going to use a vacuum canister to pull out the brake fluid to prevent a mess. All right, my vacuum pump didn't work so well, so I'm just gonna unplug the brake lines and have a cup under there to drain any brake fluid to prevent the mess. So it looks like this master cylinder has already been replaced because my aftermarket one has one of these as well. So this is 5/8, this is 1/2 inch, and this is 3/8. So I'll be taking off those brake lines. So when you disconnect those brake lines, it just slowly drips. I was able to get my vacuum pump kind of working again and got most of it out. So now we're going to slide over and take these two bolts off. Alright, so I removed those two 9/16 inch bolts and the master cylinder slid right off. They're about 30 foot-pounds of torque on there. I don't know if that's right, but you know, seemed nice and snug, so I'm just going to replace it and find out what happens. Alright, so this gets reassembled the exact same way we took it off. The two nuts in the back do have lock washers, so that might be a suggestion if you took it off and they're not there. And so next I'll tighten everything up and bleed the brakes. Remember how I said I've never done this before and we're going to learn together? Well, I learned something. You're supposed to bleed this in a vise before you mount it in the vehicle. So it actually came with these two plugs. So once we get brake fluid coming out the two reservoir holes here, then I can cap them off, take it up, and install the master cylinder. So what I'm going to do, sounds like, and I'm sure there'll be comments down below, is I'm going to take and I'm going to fill this with brake fluid. And then I'm going to push on this between 3/4 and 1 inch deep to get brake fluid to start coming out these reservoir holes. It did say once you fill it with brake fluid to wait until you see fluid coming out of here before you start pushing the piston, just to make sure that the seals are lubricated before you do that. So we're going to see what happens. So about 15 seconds after I poured the fluid in, I can see it start to collect in this reservoir hole. This one, since it has the adapter on it, it's tight. I don't want to loosen it. I can't see, but I'm sure it's there. So we're going to start this process. After a few presses of the piston, I got brake fluid to squirt out this front reservoir. I have not gotten it to squirt out that one. I'm going to keep trying. Fluid started coming through this front port really quick. I went through about 16 ounces of brake fluid trying to get fluid to come out this port. It will not. So I don't know if the master cylinder's messed up or what. I'm going to attach it to the vehicle and try to bleed it from there and see if I can get different results. I can feel pressure on it when I hold my finger over there and depress the rear piston. So maybe there's just an air bubble in it. I took and I tapped on it a little bit with a wrench. Some air bubbles came up from those two little holes right there and there. But yeah, didn't change much. So yeah, we're going to see. So definitely a work in progress, but got it figured out and bled the brakes. They bled nicely, both front and rears, and the brake pedal's nice and solid, so I believe we're good to go. But if anybody has any suggestions as far as what should have been done or how to do it better, please leave them in the comments. Thank you very much.